got a shot. Yeah, we're gonna come. I can't do this. We're gonna come in. We're gonna bolt.
That was a bad start. Today we've got another D40 race at Daytona Milton Keynes, and this time it's in the wet. Now this was probably my third or fourth time racing in the wet, so still all very new to me. I was still trying to understand how the kart handles in the wet and like how really you're meant to drive it, but I think I did a good effort in this race. For the qualifying, I wasn't that great. It was quite difficult to get a full lap in with how many yellow flags there were, so I did start 8th, and off the start I was able to gain like a position, but I instantly lost it, so I'm still in 8th here. And yeah, throughout this race there was quite a lot of rain and the track was really wet, so really slippy, but it was quite a good learning experience to see how the karts were handling. Here actually it's quite funny, or not funny for that guy, but he got spun out by the guy ahead of me, and that's probably the worst thing you want to happen at the start of the race, because you're going to have to try and find a gap to get yourself back in the race, and with everyone else behind me it would have been really hard to get in. So I don't know where he ended up, but probably quite far down the grid. Now this guy to the left of me was in 6th place, and I was battling him for a few laps, and it was quite difficult to get past him. I did feel I was quicker than him, but you have to be quite a lot quicker than the guy ahead of you, or the guy ahead of you has to make a mistake for you to be able to get past. And in fact, he did make a mistake here and goes pretty much right into the tyre barriers, which just reduces his speed and acceleration coming out of that turn into this back straight, and I was just able to zoom my way past him. A bit further on into the lap, and I'm now in 6th position. I was trying to find the guy in 5th, and I think it's the guy in the white helmet in front of me. There was the guy just spun out there. I think throughout this race so many people were spinning out. The key thing to do was just to try and keep it on track, because if you spin out it was quite difficult to get yourself back in the race with everyone coming past you, and you would lose a lot of positions. But yeah, this guy in 5th place in front of me, I was trying to figure out how I could get past him, and then into this hairpin right here, he just loses the back end and spins out. In fact, that corner was really wet, and it felt like you were just driving on ice. I mean, if you turned the car a little bit too much, it would just spin out from under you, and yeah, you were just pretty much a passenger going through it. Now I was up into 5th place, so actually pretty good start of the race for me, going from 8th to 5th. And the next guy that I wanted to try and overtake was the guy in the orange helmet. Now my GoPro had a lot of rain on it, so some of the shots you can't really see, but these guys actually, so the guy in the orange helmet I'm trying to overtake, but they just did like a synchronized like kind of swimmer move there where they both spun out at the same time. But I wasn't able to get in front of the guy in 4th place, just because the acceleration out of the corner, these karts don't have the best acceleration, so I couldn't pick up enough speed to get past him. But jumping ahead a lap now, pretty much the same corner, the same incident happens, but a different sort of timing. So instead of spinning out together, the guy ahead spun out, and then the guy I was battling pretty much had nowhere to go and went right into him. Luckily I was a bit further back, so I could take a little bit of an outside route and get past him, and then get myself up into 4th position. So over the start of the race, 4 positions gained. I was pretty happy with that. And then the guy in 3rd place is my friend Norbert, so he is the one, not the one to my left, but the guy just ahead of me here in the yellow kart. And yeah, I've spun out here actually. That was not great, and then I actually lost the position to the guy I was battling before, so down into 5th place. But that hairpin back there, it was just so easy to lose the kart on it. Luckily though, that was the only time I spun out in the race. In the qualifying I had a few more spins. Now, because of the back markers, Norbert and then this guy in the orange helmet, and then me as well actually, were all able to bunch up, and now Norbs is in third place. So this is pretty much a battle for the podium position between the three of us, and then the guy ahead of him is, well, the guy ahead of Norbs is just a back marker. So we were trying to get past him, but yeah, taking these turns, it was just really slow. You had to pretty much tiptoe the kart around, because if you were taking it with a bit too much speed, you would just go right on into the barrier or even just spin the kart out. So it was quite tricky conditions to take the kart around the track. Now coming up to this hairpin, it was pretty much every single time I was coming around this hairpin, there was someone spinning out or something. And yeah, if there was a kart in front of you, there was a pretty high chance it was going to spin out, and it actually upset the guy with the orange helmet's kart. He had to go off onto the kind of runoff strip, which slowed him down a little bit, and then I was just able to overtake him, which was a pretty nice move. Skipping ahead again, going into the hairpin, we've got a yellow flag here, but I don't think I noticed that, and I made an illegal move. This is a back marker to my left here, but I did overtake him, which I was not meant to do. But the guy I am battling is Norbs, who is to my left here. He does maintain the position, and now we're in a nice little battle we've got ourselves. I'm just trying to overtake him. The guy I did overtake before, though, tries to do a crazy little dive bomb, almost makes it stick, and we're actually fair play to him, because the track was really wet, so I didn't expect him to hold it there, but yeah, he had to slow it down too much, so wasn't able to carry the speed through the corner, and I was able to keep up with Norbs and yeah, try and overtake him. We did have a couple of back markers ahead of us still here, but with these turns, I think, yeah, the first one goes there, he was not happy with himself, and then the second one, I think with the turn coming up, probably loses it into it. I think when you're racing in the wet, you pretty much want to keep the kart like quite stable and slow through the corners. If you turn it in too much or if you brake too hard, you're just gonna spin it out, and yeah, it just doesn't really work. Now for, I think, the rest of this lap and even going into the next lap, I was just sticking right behind Norb. It's really hard to overtake, I find, on this track in the wet, especially when you're like off quite a similar skill level, because there's just like no opportunities to get a good run, or you can't really dive bomb because your kart just won't stick on the inside. So you just have to make sure you're sticking with the guy ahead of you, and yeah, just making sure you're racing as fast as you can. Now, to my surprise, actually, I looked over to my left, and this guy just came out of nowhere and just overtook me. And then I remember back to lap one, I think this was the guy, yeah, from here, this was the guy that got spun out. So he must have like went back all the way like back down the grid and had a really good comeback race to then now overtake me and get into fourth position. So yeah, he was really quick, and already on this straight, like you can see just the gap he's pulled from me. Yeah, really fast driver he was, so fair play to him. But I could still see Norbs, so I knew that this guy ahead of me was probably going to overtake Norbs, and but I still wanted to have that battle with Norbs and try and get overtake him. I looked to my right there though, and at the time I didn't realise, but actually that was the guy who was running in second. So I don't know what happened to his kart, maybe like kart failure or something, but I think he DNF'd. So yeah, he pretty much was out of the race, and that was just a position gained for me. Though I don't think at this moment in time I knew exactly what position I was. I thought I was running like 5th or 6th, but I was actually 4th, so quite close to the podium. Here, out of that turn, you can just see that guy with the orange helmet or red helmet, can't really tell with all this water on my screen. He was just really quick out of that corner, and I don't know what happened with Norbs here actually. He took that corner quite slow, and I don't know how I actually managed to have that much grip on the turn, but I was able to overtake Norbs and get myself into the 3rd position. Almost actually managed to get myself into 2nd, but I didn't have enough speed to carry on and try and overtake this guy in 3rd. Then pretty much that was it for the rest of the race. I was trying to catch this guy ahead of me, but pretty much lap after lap, he was just opening the gap, and just like, yeah, it was growing like seconds by seconds each time. So I was only able to hold third position, and this was pretty much near the end of the race. I think going on to the last lap now, another guy just spins out there, but yeah, on to the last lap now. I think we're coming up to the checkered flag, so I was able to finish in third. But overall, I think a really good wet race for me, starting from 8th position and managing to get up into the podium. So really happy with that result. But then when actually afterwards I looked at the results, I was really surprised, because the guy who won it, he started in pole position, so was just straight away ahead of everyone, like right at the start. But he managed to finish the race with a 70-second lead, so really impressive stuff from him. I've got to probably take some tips and figure out how he is racing in the wet, but yeah, fair play to him.